Gears of War Reloaded has officially been out for 30 days, and to say that players are disappointed would be an understatement. The last few years, a Marcus Phoenix collection or the original trilogy remastered has been rumored by multiple Xbox insiders. Nearly 6 years after the release of Gears 5, we finally received a remake of a remake. Gears of War Ultimate Edition was released in 2015, and that is essentially exactly what Gears of War Reloaded turned out to be. Today, I'm going to be going through all of the things that I think are wrong with this game. I'm also going to give some honest input on what I think they could be doing differently, or what they could add or implement to the game to make it better. I've always prided myself on being 100% honest here on this channel. I will say this past month has been the absolute best in terms of numbers over on Twitch and of course right here on YouTube. With that being said, these numbers have absolutely no effect on my opinion of the game, and although it excites me and I'm extremely appreciative of it, I can't help but to be slightly concerned about the future of Gears of War. When Gears of War Reloaded was first announced, I have to admit my expectations were pretty high. I didn't know if it was just going to be a Gears 1 with 2 and 3 mixed in, or if it was just going to be a completely remastered version of the 2006 version of Gears of War, which in my opinion is one of the best versions of Gears. However, obviously that is not what this is. This game ended up being a near perfect replica of Ultimate Edition, which did release in 2015. And to be honest, at that point, this game is just simply a placeholder game trying to get us by until E-Day. It's essentially giving players, especially PlayStation players, an opportunity to experience Gears of War and learn about the characters and the fundamentals of the game leading into E-Day, while also allowing, obviously, people who haven't played Gears in a long time a chance to kind of relive what makes Gears of War so special. And I will say, before we get into all of these negatives and stuff, for what it's worth, I actually have been enjoying the game for the most part. But not necessarily because of the game, and more so because of the community. I really enjoy the fact that people are talking in game chat, and you're getting that, you know, nostalgic type of gaming feel while playing this game, especially in execution. So shout out to you guys, man. I definitely think that's super cool and something that doesn't happen in very many video games nowadays. It seems like everybody's just in Discord or like party chat or whatever. So pretty cool that, you know, everybody's kind of chilling and getting to talk. Alright, so as much as I love this classic version of Gears, it doesn't necessarily feel like the classic version of Gears that we all know and love. At least not back in GAL 1. I understand a lot of players, especially like the new generation of players, they're not really too, I don't know, excited when they think about Gears 1, or maybe they've played it and they feel like it's super clunky and very glitchy and buggy. But at the end of the day, it's one of the greatest video games of all time, and that is for a reason. It is an iconic game to Microsoft and Xbox as a whole, and genuinely, Gears of War 1, to me, can't really be touched in terms of nostalgia and, you know, things of that nature. So I really love Gears 1. It isn't actually my favorite Gears game. My favorite Gears game is definitely Gears 2 or 3. However, Gears 1, you can't match the, you know, quote-unquote vibes when you're thinking about that game. It's dark, it's gritty, it's gory, and honestly, it's just a beautiful, beautiful game as a whole. Alright guys, unfortunately, it is now time to get into all of the negatives that this game has brought, and honestly, the list is pretty long, so I'm just going to kind of run through these and vent a little bit. And, you know, I know a lot of people have been feeling the same type of way. I took some of these ideas from people talking in my comments and in the Twitch stream, of course. So, yeah, hopefully the Coalition watches this and kind of hears us out a little bit. But listen, man, we're 30 days in, and to be honest, we haven't really had a good version of this game yet. The very first version was just the most insane shotgun ever. It was even crazier than TU6 in Gears 2. For those of you guys who, you know, are longtime Gears players, you guys know what I'm talking about. The shotgun was shooting nuclear bombs. Like, you're actually shooting people from across the map and one-shotting them down or headshotting them, which obviously you can still headshot people with a shotgun from pretty far, but that is kind of like a GAL 1 thing. But what we first got with this game was nothing at all like Gears of War 1 or even UE, which is what this game is based off of. It was some weird, like, in-between game of Gears 2 TU6 and GAU 3 without the movement. So it was just super, super weird. And the one thing I will say in a positive light from that update was the fact that you were really, like, capable of playing for damage from mid-range, which I will talk about in this video. I do think that that is an absolute necessity if you're going to make a Gears of War game and try to make it as as balanced as you can. Nowadays, and right here's a perfect example, you can't really play for damage all that well. You just get super high percentages, which of course you can't see your percentage in this game, but you just get them super, super hurt, and they just walk up to you and chunk you or down you with one shot, which is, you know, another thing that's super weird in this game. And so the balance of the shotgun, even though it was really bad in the original update, it is equally bad in its own way right now. I genuinely think it's almost worse, and that is definitely a rare, kind of like a out of the norm opinion. But I also play this game quite a bit, and I play against some of the best players in the world, and I got to tell you guys, man, the way that this game is played, it is just simply not Gears of War. It does not feel like anything related to Gears of War at all. It feels very similar to Gears 5 without the crazy movement and, throw in the one-shot downs. The one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is back in the day in GAU 1, actives were a thing. Obviously, like, actives are still a thing in this game, but the way that actives worked back then, it made more sense because some of the moves and stuff that you're able to do, like, for an example, cover swap canceling. So, like, right here, I tried to do it. See how I canceled my cover swap? That wasn't a thing in GAU 1. So, like, little things like that, and then into, like, a back A or a reaction shot or an inverse or something like that. It just builds for a lot of weird dynamics in terms of shotgun fights, and it just doesn't really feel like Gears of War anymore. It just feels like we're kind of trying to mesh the older style of Gears with the newer style of shotgun play in the newer Gears. So it doesn't feel good, that's for sure. I don't think that there is a single pro player from other Gears games that actually enjoys this game, or maybe not enjoy it, maybe that's not a good word, but thinks that this, like, overall game and the mechanics and, like, the way that the shotgun is and things like that is good. I know for me and my friends, we definitely do not agree with this, and, it is what it is. Like I said, if I could choose any game, probably it would be some earlier update in Gears 2, maybe like a TU3 or something like that, for those of you guys who know about that stuff. So yeah, basically we've had two updates in this game. We've had the launch version, which is completely different from UE, and then of course we had this update on the 3rd of this month, I believe it was, which was just really, really bad, and that's what we're still playing on essentially. So yeah, the mid-range damage and things like that doesn't make any sense. It builds for a game where you are essentially forced to slide into people's covers and get super close to them. And people who haven't played Gears for a long time, they may think like, hey, Icy, that's what a shotgun is for. You should be using your other weapons. I even mentioned that when playing UE. However, with the mechanics of this game and the fact that you can close distance so fast, there's no stopping power, there's no anything along those lines. You really are forced to essentially just play a timing-based Gears of War game, which is exactly what 4 and 5 was. Essentially sliding into people's covers or running up to them while they're in between their shots, rather than the original GAU 1 type of meta where you strafe it out and trade shot for shot. Very rarely are you in fights like that in this game, and it just doesn't happen nowadays. Maybe that's the old school type of thing, but I do think that that's what makes Gears of War special, and we definitely don't have that anymore. Another thing I'd like to talk about is how bad the servers have been. So a lot of people, for whatever reason, still think there's like a host in this game. There is absolutely zero host in this game. It is all server based. That's why when you go to Versus and you press X if you're on controller or square if you're on PlayStation, you can see the list of servers and the one that you're on. There is not a singular host, and you're not running off of anybody's connection. With that being said, one of the main topics that the Coalition and Microsoft were talking about when they first released this game and did their interview was the fact that there's going to be new, fresh, strong servers, specifically in Mexico. And, I mean, they did point that out, but I'm assuming they upgraded the servers here for years, you know, in the States. And I got to tell you guys, man, the servers have been really, really bad and really, really inconsistent. It feels like I'm playing a different game almost every single day I get on the game. And I know I'm not the only one who says that or feels that way. A lot of people in my comments and in my Twitch chat have been saying, you know, things similar in terms of the servers. The servers are really lackluster, and I got to tell you guys, man, it's kind of pathetic considering it is 2025, man. It makes no sense. It feels like we're like the only game who really has this problem consistently in every single title. And it's genuinely disheartening, man. It feels like nobody's really listening to us. How hard can it truly be to have good servers in the game? It doesn't make any sense. Another thing that doesn't make sense, since we're talking about that, is when the servers have gone offline, it was always the comp servers that are completely down, and then the social game modes are up, which doesn't make any sense. Isn't the comp servers and the social servers running off of the same server? Am I wrong about that? That doesn't make any sense, but it is a thing. It's an actual fact. The comp playlist, which is strictly execution and 2v2 Nasher with, of course, no ranked mode, which again makes no sense. We don't even need to get into that. Those modes were completely shut off. You cannot find a game, but you could search up any social match and be able to get into a game. So doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand that. Maybe somebody down in the comments can explain that to me, because it doesn't make any sense. Moving forward here, I gotta tell you guys, man, after you hit level 80, there is essentially no reason to play this game unless you're a die-hard Gears of War fan. After you hit level 80, you finally unlock every single character in this game that is available to unlock, and that's pretty much it. Unless you're achievement hunting for seriously, or, you know, just playing the game for fun at that point, you have nothing to strive for. There's nothing to get on and try to, you know, unlock, or try to, you know, for an example, if there were a rank mode, there's no highest rank that you can get to. There's a few re-ups, and that's pretty much it. There's not any incentives to actually get on this game in comparison to other video games, like I said, unless you're a diehard Gears fan. And to be honest with you, man, this game is not strictly made for the diehard Gears of War fans, and that's why I'm even mentioning this. The entire reason for this game to even come out was to get more people involved and interested in Gears. That way, when E-Day comes out, there's a lot more hype around it, right? A lot more people are going to want to get their hands on it and actually play the game because they had such a good experience with Reloaded. Now, I've played with hundreds of PlayStation players, and it seems like they are coming around less and less often as I'm streaming this game pretty much every single day. And, you know, I don't really blame them. I mean, like, I'm not going to get mad at a PlayStation player for not really enjoying this game for multiple reasons. The way that this, you know, the game works, the mechanics, the shotgun, and everything, it's not very friendly for new players. Gears of War has always been a very skillful game, which is what, you know, the game has taken pride in terms of, like, Call of Duty and Apex and, you know, games like that with high aim assist. This game does not have super high aim assist. And so it's a very skillful game. The way that you move, the way that you use covers, the way that you fight, it's always been a very skillful game. And it's not very inviting to new players, which is why people like me who have a lot of experience make tutorials and stuff. And, you know, some people find it super helpful. The problem with that is that not everybody is going to come to my YouTube channel and watch my videos. Some people just want to get off of work or come home from school and load up the game and enjoy themselves. And that's completely fine. And I think that's one of the biggest flaws in Gears of War. Not even just this one, like genuinely Gears of War. It feels like you can't have a fun, casual experience, and there is absolutely no incentive to play the game. One thing that Gears of War 3, if you guys remember, did super, super well was have all of the ribbons and the emblems and the onyx medals and things like that, which was something to actually get on and work towards. It gave you incentive to play the game, and it gave you something to think about during the day. That way, when you got home and you started playing the game, you already know what you're working on, and you're not just kind of running around brainlessly on these maps and switching up the modes because you're getting bored and people keep leaving. It's frustrating for me, and I'm not trying to make this video to be like super negative and be like annoying or anything, but this game is so frustrating for me because we've waited for so long, and I genuinely love the idea of going back to the original Gears of War game. However, this is not the original Gears of War game, and there is no reason for the average player to play this game unless they are a diehard fan. It's very, very infuriating, and I don't understand how we repeatedly make this mistake. Another thing I want to mention, which I did just briefly mention, is the fact that there's no punishment for people leaving the games. Now, sometimes it makes sense when people leave the games. Like, for an example, if 2 of their teammates leave, now they're in a 4v2 on Bullet Marsh, and they're tired of getting lancered out because there's no bots to fill in for their teammates, or for whatever reason, people are taking forever to join. It makes sense for the rest of the people to leave. But the fact is that, especially in social matches, like, it's cool for people to leave. It is what it is. That's why you play social, right? So you can hop into a game, hop out whenever you need to go. But, man, there's got to be something to keep players in these lobbies, and that is why I'm such a big fan of having a ultra competitive ranked mode. That way, if you are choosing to search up in this specific mode, obviously you are dedicating your time to finishing that game, barring some crazy stuff where you absolutely need to leave, of course. The fact that there is no ranked mode in any Gears of War game currently, except for Gears 4, makes no sense at all. Now, the reality is, it is 2025, and not everybody even cares about having a super ultra competitive ranked mode, and that's completely fine. But like I said, man, it goes both ways. Right now, it feels like for the super casual player and for the super competitive player, this game overall just isn't what it needs to be. And it's not very inviting to anybody, man. It's not really super inviting for the Gears, veteran who's been playing for almost 20 years. And it's not really all that inviting for players who are brand new and maybe have seen my video and they're like, man, this game looks super cool. I remember this game being super cool back in the day. Let me give it a try. They get on it. They get slammed. There's no learning, mode for them. There's no nothing. You're shooting them straight into these games, and they have no chance at all. I mean, that's just a reality. A lot of these players just genuinely have no chance, and I may sound like a bit of a hypocrite, especially with some of my videos that I've made in the past month, but in reality, man, I'm just doing content, and I actually do feel for some of these people who haven't got past that learning curve. I mean, Gears of War takes a lot of time to even get good at, and then even more time to master. And that is the whole reason that I genuinely started this channel. For those of you guys who don't know, I have been playing since 2006 when the game first dropped, and then I was a professional player for the past, I don't even know what it's been now, 11, 12 years, whatever it's been. I represented Optic Gaming, all of this stuff, 10-time champion, won over 200K playing Gears, and that's all good and fine, and who really gives a fuck, right? Nobody cares. The point that I'm trying to make is that Gears of War is a game that I love at first. That's the first thing that I think of when I think of Gears of War. It's a game that I fell in love with when I was young, and it just so happened to end up being my job for the next 20 years essentially, right? But the reality is right now I am genuinely concerned about the future, and I'm not talking about right now. I'm not talking about the next week. I'm not talking about 3-4 months from now. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys, and I'm sorry if this isn't exactly what you guys want to hear. I fully expect this game to be near death in 6-7 months. I mean, I genuinely don't think that very many people are going to stick to Reloaded in the next half year, maybe a little bit longer. With that being said, E-Day is set to release at some point next year, which is kind of its saving grace. But man, although the game wasn't really ever supposed to be this brand new super crazy title, it just seems like it's very lazily done, and it's frustrating for people like me who have such high hopes for the game and care so deeply about the community. And I know I'm not the only one. I know there's many of you guys out there who feel the exact same way as me, who don't have the same platform as me. And you know, respectfully to you guys, your voice is never going to be heard, you know, past just the people that you're talking to. And that's why I want to make this video. I hope the coalition is listening to this. I hope that they see all of the comments that you guys leave and understand that this is not okay. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it never has, the fact that you can make a game and be lazy about it, respectfully, of course, and then expect us to be super excited about a game that we've now, at that point, been waiting for almost 7 years for. Gears of War E-Day. It's scary. It feels like we're kind of walking in the darkness here. I don't even know, and I know you guys don't know, what E-Day is even going to be like. Is it going to be like this game? Is it going to be like OG GAL 1? Is it going to be like GAL 5? Is it going to be like GAL 2? All of those answers will be eventually revealed to us. Obviously, during the Xbox Showcase, which is in June or July of 2026, whenever it is, we're going to get the majority of these answers. We're also probably going to end up getting a beta and things of that nature. But it's like right now, in this given moment, the game has been out for 30 days. And I am, you know, one of the most popular Gears YouTubers, whatever, who cares? And I'm telling you, I'm worried about this game. And it frustrates me. I mean, it does. It makes me mad that, you know, we wait so long for this game. And even for me, like, I'm very excited about this game, you know, coming out. And, you know, I love the original Gears game, like I said. And it's just the same story, different day, every single time, man. There's no ranked mode. The game modes are missing. We don't have Wingman. We don't have Free-for-All. There's no new weapon skins. There's like 2 new weapon skins, no new character skins. Like, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't get it. I don't get it. And it's frustrating, man. And I'm sorry. I've waited like 2 weeks to make this video because I've been feeling this way ever since they, you know, I guess it's been about 3 weeks now. Ever since they dropped this update, and it's just, you know, it's just nauseating, man. It is. But enough of that. Obviously, I could sit here and complain, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not going to really change anything. I just am hoping the coalition sees this. So I'm going to offer some help here. I'm going to give you guys some quick fixes. Maybe it's not quick. It's my wording, whatever. But things that you should definitely do in order to keep this game alive for the next year. Now, me saying, I don't think this game's going to be live. I think it's going to be dead in the next 6 months and blah, blah, blah. That is if you don't adjust anything and you're just leaving it be. Because the game has so much potential. It does. It has a lot of potential. And I would love for you guys to just hear me out and hear everybody's opinion here. So, all right, listen to me. Quick fixes to stop the bleeding, okay? Fix the shotgun. Make the shotgun more accessible. Allow players to play for damage. Not everybody has infinite time to get insanely good at this game and just wall bounce around and back A and reaction shot and all that shit. Notice how right now on the screen, this is the original 2006 version of Gears of War. Notice how many times in this gameplay that I'm reaction shotting and inversing players. It's not happening very often. Why? Because that's not Gears of War. Also, little side note, the graphics are way better right here in this gameplay. 2006, by the way, Xbox 360, okay? Just throwing that out there, and I mean that with respect. Another thing, fix the servers, okay? Why is it in this game, 2006, there is a server browser? I can play on any map I want. I can, if there's not a game up, I can host, I can wait for players, and it fills up extremely quickly. I want to be able to not play Bullet Marsh ever again if I choose to not play Bullet Marsh ever again. I feel like this matchmaking is so outdated, not to mention that it simply doesn't work sometimes. I would love for us to go back to having a server browser and have it be not hosting, right? Like there's no host advantage, obviously, and just have dedicated servers. And I understand the problem with that. It may be, you know, too many players want to host and you don't have enough servers. That's fine. Make it something like Fortnite where, you know, individuals have a code for their own lobby, like Apex, that type of thing. Give, you know, content creators and streamers and, you know, community leaders and stuff an opportunity to have this, you know, function, basically. Okay, hear me out. That's all I'm saying. Just throwing that out there. Another thing, I would really recommend hiring somebody that communicates with the community more often. The only time I'm seeing people communicate from the coalition or from Microsoft or whatever with the community is when it's saying, I hear your complaints, this is what we're doing, and it's like once in a blue moon. I want to see like a weekly thing. And again, I fully expect that back in, like, you know, when E-Day comes out. I understand that, you know, maybe you're not putting all your resources into this game. You're, you know, saving money, saving time, whatever. I hear you. I understand. But I think it's important to show the community, especially with how much downtime that we have had, that you still care about us and that you still want us to enjoy the game. And you know, we at the end of the day are what makes the game work, right? The community, the players, this is why people have jobs. You know, we are the reason that, you know, you're still making the game. Respectfully, I say that, you know, out of no disrespect. I'm just saying there needs to be some level of communication that we're not, you know, currently getting. I just think it needs to be a little bit better. Another thing, man, create some incentive to play the game. I mean, seriously, we got to have a reason to get on the game. I don't care if you throw ranked mode in. I don't care if you throw in 50 new characters. I don't care what you do. Give us another reason, more of a reason to get on and load up your game versus all of the other games that are currently out. I would rather play Gears of War 1 that was made in 2006 than to play Reloaded. And I know people don't care. I know you guys at the Coalition, I know you guys don't care what Gears game I play, because that is another thing. You know, in case you guys didn't know, the Coalition doesn't genuinely care what Gears of War game you play as long as you buy the game, and I don't fault them for that. They are a business at the end of the day, but it's the truth. It doesn't matter what Gears game I'm playing as long as I, you know, buy them all. That, I feel like, is just the wrong approach, though. I feel like you should want players to play your brand new game and to, you know, man, just keep people into this game. That way, when you drop E-Day, everybody's super excited. Keep people happy, man. You don't want to, you know, leave a bad taste in people's mouth. It's not a good look, man. It's not, especially after Gears 5. Gears 5 is the worst Gears game ever made, not even close. And yeah, man, at the end of the day, we are very thankful. You know, I know me. I know I'm sounding, you know, pretty negative. I'm kind of bitching and moaning. It is what it is. It's all out of love, all out of passion. I love this game. And I wanted to succeed, man. And I am thankful that we have something. I was very, very excited for Reloaded when it first dropped. I mean, probably more excited than most people, honestly. I was losing my mind on stream. But there needs to be some adjustments, man. Like, we got to make some adjustments. That way this game, you know, keeps players interested. Because there are some very spiteful human beings out there. And some people will have a couple bad weeks on Gears Reloaded and say, fuck it, I'm not buying E-Day. And you may not think so, but that is the absolute truth when it comes to gamers, man. Some people will just say, all right, you guys are not worth my money. I'm not buying your game. I'm not playing your game. And that's it. You also have a lot of competition, man, on the horizon. You got GTA 6. You got all these new Call of Duties all the time, of course. It's never going to end. So we got to up our game a little bit and even out the playing field, even if you're not actually trying to compete with some of these major titles. Gears of War is a legendary and iconic game, and I would love to see it succeed. That's really all I have to say, man. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I'm very passionate about this game. I've waited a couple weeks to make this video. We're 30 days in. I would love for the next 30 days to be much better than the first 30 days. Again, I'm sorry if I come off as disrespectful. I just am very passionate about this game, and it's something that I hold close to my heart. I really believe that this game could be so much more than what it is. I mean, I'm watching 2006 footage on my screen right now as I'm talking to you guys, and respectfully, it looks so much better than the game I play every single day currently. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I love you guys, man. I'm getting a little, you know, high intensity right now just because, man, I'm frustrated, man, you know? I'm really frustrated. So if you guys agree, if you guys disagree, if you guys have anything to add, please, please, please leave a comment. And hopefully this video gets sent out to TC. Hopefully somebody sees it and actually you know, is willing to hear me out for 30 minutes of just nonstop talking. And that's pretty much it, man. I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of this gameplay on your screen. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one, man. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Love you guys. Hope you guys are all doing good. Peace.
Disgusting. I'm in the zone, baby.